I know that title is a tad sweeping, but I had to get you here somehow.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Oh god, now it sounds like clickbait. It's not, I promise. Let me explain. Remember that feeling of counting down the days until an exciting new game comes out? If you're as old as me, rushing out to the store to buy a physical copy, slapping the disc into the tray, and immersing yourself for days, weeks, maybe more. I still remember the day GTA 5 came out, 12 years ago, booting up my Xbox 360 and losing myself in the story of Mike, Trevor and Franklin. I missed that feeling, and I wanted to figure out why I haven't felt it in so long. So join me as we delve into my game catalogue, explore what makes a game successful, and how much of all of this is simply subjective, or perhaps I've just gotten old. My name is Moomin Littlesocks, and I'm a 32-year-old man, mid-existential crisis, who's decided to dedicate a large portion of his life to making silly videos on the internet. So please, just humour me, and I'll go away soon. As part of the research for this video, I decided to collate a list of my favourite games, quantifying what it is I like about them and looking for any correlations. So I did what any sane person would do and created a spreadsheet. I handpicked 10 of my all-time favourite games, ensuring they're comparable with one another. What do I mean by comparable? Alright, I'm about to tell you. Well, the majority of my favourite games are either first or third person, which would be very difficult to compare to say Planet Coaster, even though it's my most played game at almost 3,500 hours. So all the games in my list are directly comparable in some way or another. It was also extremely difficult to pick just 10 games. There are some absolute gems I've had to leave out, such as Cyberpunk, Euro Truck Simulator, Watch Dogs, and much more. But ultimately, the key factor was how these games made me feel, how much they immersed me, and how they keep drawing me back to play more. Enough waffling, what are the games? In no particular order except the order that they are, which is alphabetical: 7 Days to Die, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, GTA 5, Hitman World of Assassination, Mad Max, No Man's Sky, Raft, Subnautica, and Telltale's The Walking Dead. Now, this is quite the eclectic mix of games, but that was a deliberate choice that works in our favour when attempting to review what makes them stand out, at least for me anyway. And that's an important issue to address. The incredible thing about games, and more so those that play them, is that we all play games for different reasons. We all crave different features, enjoy different styles and genres, want something unique out of them. I don't think you'll ever meet another gamer with the exact same catalogue as you. You could both love the exact same genres, but I guarantee there will always be a game they play that doesn't interest you, and vice versa. And isn't that fantastic? My partner and I game together fairly often, in a wide selection of different titles. But there's no chance I'll ever catch him playing Laundry Store Simulator, and I have zero interest in Zelda Breath of the Wild. But the fact we can both sink a whole day into Project Zomboid together is a beautiful thing. But anyway, back to the task at hand. Let's take a look at my subcategories. Again, trying to identify what I enjoy about a game is tricky, but having the 10 games side by side made it easier to locate common features, so here they are. Choices matter. Do the choices I make in-game directly affect the gameplay? This can be as simple as altering NPC dialogue based on past actions, to entire plot shifts like key character deaths. Crafting or building? With 6 out of 10 matching this criteria, it's easy to see I have a preference. Crafting is such a rewarding experience. From deciding what you need next to further your character's progression, to sourcing all the components, to finally constructing the item and reaping the benefits. And when it comes to building, well, you're literally changing the world around you, making it your own. Replayability. Does the game not only draw you back in for more, does it make your further playthroughs different and unique? Open world. There's no denying that an open world game is an entirely different experience. It removes any sense of linear gameplay. Go wherever you want, do whatever you want, in any order you want. Story. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Well-written and well-performed story can improve a game tenfold, especially when it elicits emotion too. I'm looking at you, Walking Dead. Upgrades and progression. With almost every game, you need to feel like you're progressing, you're improving, and the work you're putting in is paying off. From character upgrades to improved tools, better preparing you for further gameplay. We're now reaching the point in my table where all 10 games tick every box, so that's exciting, isn't it? Graphics. It seems obvious, but graphics are key to creating an immersive experience. This doesn't mean they have to include RTX ray tracing or DLSS, it just means the graphics have to be carefully considered for the type of game. Performance. There's nothing worse than poor performance when trying to immerse yourself in a game. And whilst a lot of that is CPU and GPU dependent, good optimization should be at the forefront of development. Gameplay immersion. Anything that breaks my immersion whilst playing a game. invisible walls, things that aren't interactable that definitely should be, missing animations, essentially the world behaving as you would expect. And finally, game changer. Yes, if you can pardon the pun, is the game a game changer? Have the developers done something new, unique, or have they bettered the genre in a way that hasn't been done before, and possibly since? So there's my list, love it or hate it. You can now see how I've rated 10 of my favourite games on the surface. It's now time to delve into each game and figure out exactly what it is I love about it. Either that or just an excuse to tell you about my favourite games. And if any of the developers are watching, yes, I'm open to sponsorship. Speaking of developers, Osiris Games reached out with a key to their new game, Eden Crafters. Don't worry, it's not a sponsored segment. I just quite enjoyed the game and thought, whilst we're talking about games anyway, I'd share it with you all. A solo and co-op open world game that challenges you to turn a hostile planet into a habitable haven for humanity, temper the climate, create a breathable atmosphere, and turn toxic lakes into water. Shape a new world. Bloody blimey. Hyperbole aside, the game is actually really good. You arrive on an inhospitable planet, and your job is to slowly but surely transform it into a luscious Eden, fit for human life. Despite the familiar game mechanics we've seen in the likes of Satisfactory, there's a real sense of progress and regrowth, a feature I've just proclaimed the importance of. The work you put in not only changes the numbers on the screen, but you visually see the landscape transform. Grass starts growing, trees start forming, lakes turn a beautiful shade of blue. You look around and go, I did that. A truly rewarding gameplay experience. But anyway, I've become sidetracked and it's entirely your fault. Let's get back to the task at hand and more importantly, my carefully selected list of games what I like. Here we go. 7 Days to Die. A hugely underrated game in my opinion. From its early days back in alpha where it was essentially Minecraft with zombies, to where it is now in full release version 1.3 looking stunning. 7 Days to Die is an open world game that is a unique combination of first-person shooter, survival horror, tower defense, and RPG. The thing that separates it from other post-apocalyptic games for me is that it's not too far removed from reality. It's clearly set in present day, the majority of the region is still intact, and it's really a matter of behaving as you would if this were to happen for real. Need food? Hunt some wild deer or raid a local cafe. Need weapons? Locate a gun store or search an abandoned police car. Everything feels intuitive and ties back to that gameplay immersion. Another prime example of that exact thing is how an item's appearance adapts based on your input. Add a pot to a campfire, the asset actually changes. Add a grill, it changes again. Such a minute detail, but one that makes you just pause and go, that's cool. Same with tools, weapons, and much more. With the map options being not only enormous but procedural, it makes for incredible replayability too. From building a base in the woods on one playthrough to commandeering one of hundreds of different abandoned POIs on another, once you've cleared out the Zeds of course. The crafting system is intuitive and satisfying, improve skills by reading books, and build complex and elaborate bases. Each playthrough feels genuinely unique and tells its own story, like you're the lead character in your own film. All of this ultimately undermining the core concept of the game, which is to survive 7 days till the Blood Moon Horde night, which almost seems insignificant with such a well fleshed out survival crafting game. Detroit Become Human. A game I almost decided against adding to the list due to the genre, but with the pure craftsmanship and beauty of the game, I couldn't ignore it. I mean, the Steam store page speaks for itself. Over 132,000 reviews with an overwhelmingly positive rating in both recent and all time is almost unheard of these days. Detroit Become Human puts the destiny of both mankind and androids in your hands, taking you to a near future where machines have become more intelligent than humans. Every choice you make affects the outcome of the game, with one of the most intricately branching narratives ever created. And they're not kidding either. The script for the game was over 2,000 pages long, 250 actors, over 74,000 unique animations, and 5.1 million lines of code. The game was entirely motion captured, and I think entirely responsible for the intense emotional connection that's created between the player and the characters. You're basically playing a film and deciding what happens next. Each level displays the sheer quantity of different pathways you can take as the player, leading to a myriad of different endings and consequences for your actions. It's also easily one of the best looking games I've ever played. I mean, look at it. And it came out 7 years ago. To say this game immersed me would be an enormous understatement. It absorbed me. I played through the game in about 11 hours across a few sessions, but my goodness, I'm already excited for the next time, seeing how differently the story plays out through different actions. Also, side note, Connor and Hank's relationship was one of the best curated I've ever experienced in storytelling. Next! Fallout 4. Where to even start? Fallout 4 is probably my all-time favourite game. In terms of box ticking, it ticks them all. Choices matter, crafting and building, replayability, open world, story, upgrades and progression, graphics, performance, gameplay immersion, and an absolute game changer. It has everything. Performance is the only slightly iffy one, but I haven't personally had any major issues, just a few stutters here and there, but nothing crazy. For me, Fallout 4 is the ultimate RPG experience. For some, it's Elden Ring, for others it's Skyrim, but for me, it's always Fallout. Right from the beginning, seamlessly embedding character creation and stats into the gameplay, and giving you all the exposition and motivation you need to start your adventure, albeit heteronormative, it's the perfect start to a game. The world design is not only stunning, but carefully curated. With the 1950s aesthetic perfectly blended with futuristic nuclear technology, it's also flippin' enormous, especially with all the DLCs. The characters are plentiful and complex, even if some have their issues, and depending on who you talk to, your playthrough will vary vastly. Not only are you making constant dialogue choices, but some have a direct impact on the world around you. All of this sits alongside an incredible crafting and building system that I've sunk way too many hours into. The game actively encourages you to build whole settlements and build communities of people. Heck, you can build whole cities, and people have. Combine all of that with mod support and you've essentially got an open world sandbox to do whatever you want. Commit yourself to finding your kidnapped son, or spend the whole game building an enormous settlement in Starlight Drive-In like I always seem to do. I've spent over 600 hours in Fallout 4 and I'm still excited to jump back in, and I truly hope Bethesda deliver with Fallout 5, if that ever materialises. GTA 5. I mean, what can you even say? Has any gamer not played Grand Theft Auto? The entire franchise is phenomenal, and I spent an incredible amount of time in San Andreas, but the 5th installment was certainly in a league of its own. I must say, GTA Online is not for me. I tried it and had fun for a bit, but single player is definitely more for me. Plus, the stigma attached to online and some of the toxic behaviour that surrounds it is enough to keep me away. But much like Fallout, you can play GTA 5 however you wish. The overlapping storylines between the three characters almost push you to consider how best to progress, and I love that. I don't think I'm alone in occasionally just going for a drive and nothing more. Rockstar have created an enormous and immersive world, and it allows you to just explore it. I remember being obsessed with the fact you can just go into a random store and rob it. The game doesn't prompt you to, but it lets you. Everything that unfolds after that just becomes unique to your experience. As you're hiding down an alley, crouched behind the wheel, and the police finally give up, you just sit there and think, wow, I created that whole experience. Yes, it's the developer's tireless work that allows it to happen, but I just created an entire robbery and police chase for Michael's character separate to the main story, and I love that. The cleverly curated transitions between characters also push that gameplay immersion. You return to Trevor wherever he may be, and it builds that story. What does he do next after waking up where you found him? It's up to you. Who would have thought a game about vehicle theft could get so deep? And I cannot wait to immerse myself once again in the brand new world of GTA 6. Hitman World of Assassination. How good can a game about a hitman really be? Well, it turns out, really bloody good. I've sunk over 250 hours into World of Assassination, and I know there are plenty more hours to come. It's beautiful, it's immersive, it's clever, it's funny, and its replayability is endless, especially with Freelancer mode. What is Freelancer mode? As the name suggests, you're working as a freelance hitman, taking on contracts to ultimately tear down a crime syndicate. Once successful, you move on to the next. But the beautiful thing is that every contract's unique. Different locations, different targets, and a vast amount of ways to eliminate them. And when it comes to progress, the way you gain tools and weapons is by bringing them back from successful missions or buying them from suppliers. If you die, you lose whatever you were carrying. Immersive, right? The game takes patience, planning, and commitment, and you will be punished for running in guns blazing and risk losing everything, but I love that about it. You could commit over an hour to one contract if you wanted. Scope the environment, do your recon before even getting close to the target. One false move and it's all over. And all of this is separate from the main storyline, which is beautifully written and produced. An absolutely stunning game all round. Mad Max. Quite the curveball with this one, an underrated gem from 10 years ago. Released the same year as Fury Road, Mad Max presents you with a savage post-apocalyptic world where cars are key to survival. Once again, the game looks beautiful, especially considering its age. In a world where water is scarce and you're flying across the now desert, seeing nautical structures and ships from a whole new perspective. The game essentially focuses on liberating territories from the bad guys and upgrading your car, the Magnus Opus, as you go. But the thing that makes this game stand out is that not one aspect has been underbaked. The characters and voice acting, incredible. The driving, phenomenal. And my goodness, the combat. Some of the best combat I've ever experienced. Every move is grounded, powerful, and so satisfying. The world is endlessly immersive, from random interactions with other vehicles, to simply how well the car interacts with the scenery. Mad Max knew what it set out to do, and achieved it perfectly. No Man's Sky. What a game it's become, my goodness. From its rocky release back in 2016, created by a small team led by Sean Murray, through its seemingly endless huge free updates that are still coming thick and fast, to where it is today, stated as one of the biggest redemption stories of all time. The defining feature of No Man's Sky is that nearly all parts of the galaxy, including stars, planets, flora and fauna on these planets, and sentient alien encounters, are created through procedural generation using deterministic algorithms and random number generators from a single seed number. This 64-bit value leads to there being over 18 quintillion planets to explore within the game. That's nuts. So when it comes to replayability, you can't get much better than No Man's Sky. Almost every aspect of it is procedural. The crafting is intuitive, the base and freighter building is fantastic, and we can finally customize our ships. Hurrah! There are a plethora of storylines to follow, or you can just do your own thing. Heck, I had a playthrough where I was a ship flipper. I'd find crashed ships, fix the broken components, and sell them for a profit. You can manage settlements, trade goods at space stations, or simply just explore. The options are endless. No Man's Sky is unlike any other game, and the fact we've been receiving regular free updates for almost 10 years is insane. Raft. Oh, sweet Raft. I was originally introduced to the game by Markiplier and his chums Bob and Wade in their multiple fantastic playthroughs together. But the reason I make that reference is because of how impactful their journey was. It was genuinely like being addicted to a TV series. Each episode, their raft building larger, their roles being formed, and their dramatic journey from island to island. Whilst of course a lot of that comes from the content creation of Markiplier and his editor Lixian, the game accommodates it. And even on my own solo playthrough, I grew attached to my raft and our journey together from start to finish. From a few simple planks to a massive ship complete with bedroom, kitchen, engine room, hydroponics and more. The sense of progression in Raft is huge, with every story island providing more blueprints and equipment to expand and grow. The game looks great, and every in-game item has been carefully thought about with beautiful, unique animations to accompany them. You'd think Raft would bring a sense of isolation, but there's just something quite cozy about the game that makes it truly stand out for me. Subnautica. Quite inexplicably, it took me a long old time to play Subnautica, but once I did, I was hooked. In a very similar vein to Raft, the game centers around being stranded in the ocean, except this one is on an alien planet. Descend into the depths of an alien underwater world filled with wonder and peril is right. To progress further into the game, you have to go deeper and deeper towards the ocean floor, and as I'm sure you're aware, the deeper you go, the darker it gets. And when you're hundreds of meters down in the pitch black with dwindling oxygen, what's more exciting than a giant alien creature trying to kill you? So yeah, Subnautica is definitely not for the faint-hearted, and if you don't suffer with thalassophobia, you will after playing this. But aside from all that dread, the game is absolutely beautiful, with a fantastic story of escaping the planet after a rather disastrous crash landing. Build bases, craft submarines, gain better tools and equipment, you know the deal. But Subnautica does it all extremely well, and I'm very excited for the sequel. And finally, The Walking Dead. It's no secret that I'm obsessed with Telltale's masterpiece, and I don't think I'm alone. Another game with an overwhelmingly positive response on Steam from over 18,000 reviews, The Walking Dead Definitive Edition contains over 50 hours of gameplay across 23 episodes. Based on the comics rather than the TV series, the game's unique selling point is the player's choices. Dialogue options and quick-time events lead to a myriad of different playthroughs. Some choices simply change how characters feel about you, whereas others lead to significant non-player deaths, changing the narrative completely. Where the gameplay can be perceived as quite linear, it's the incredible writing and voice acting that really sells this game for me. I can safely say it's the only video game that made me feel so much hatred for a single character, and also the only game to make me shed a tear. And if you played it, I'm sure you know which scene caused it. Jared Emerson Johnson's soundtrack is integral to the game's success and accompanies the gameplay beautifully. Likewise, the art style is the perfect choice for a comic adaptation, and I can't imagine any other style working. Telltale is yet another team that knew their goal and achieved it without fault. And there you go, I've broken down 10 of my all-time favourite games and you're still here. Well done. And what was even the point? to extract exactly what makes for a fantastic game and look for correlations. Were you not paying attention? So, what are those correlations? There are a few commonalities, but I think it comes down to two major factors: freedom and immersion. A game shouldn't confine you. It shouldn't restrict you. It should say, hey, here's a world we've created. Now do what you want, the way you want to do it. I know that doesn't apply to every game, but that's where immersion comes in. If a game does require a linear playthrough, don't make it feel as such. If you're guiding a player in a certain direction, make it feel like their own choice. If all your dialogue choices lead to the same outcome, try to disguise it. If there's a light switch on the wall, let me press it. It doesn't need to have any impact, I just want to be able to do it. And if I can't, my immersion is broken. And my goodness, let me pet the damn dog.
You can't put a dog in a game and not let me pet it. What are you talking about?
So why are these perfect games so few and far between? Well, because they're really bloody hard to make. They normally require massive teams with a very large backing and a lot of passion from the entire development team. They need the ability to listen to the players and take their advice. They're the ones playing it. A lot of the time I fear I've just grown out of video games, and perhaps that's why I'm finding it hard to lose myself in them these days. But then I turn back to Mad Max or Fallout 4 and go, nah, these are still really damn great. Cyberpunk was pretty good, Starfield was okay, but I want to be hooked. I want to lose days in a game, and I truly hope that returns soon. Breaking all these games down in such detail has truly been fascinating for me, and I urge you to do the same with your catalogue. As I finish this bottle of red, I do hope these haven't simply been the ramblings of a 12-year-old telling their best friend about their favouriteest games. I hope you can extract something meaningful, and if not, at least we spent this time together. What games do you keep returning to? Are you a fan of any of the games on my list? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into my psyche, please like the video, and perhaps share it with some of your gamer friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.